We've all been there. You're staring at a price chart, you see a move, you think you know what's happening, and then it just completely reverses on you. Well, today, we're going to look past those tricky price candles and get to the market's real story, the one that's written in volume, because that's what tells you about the true intent and conviction behind any move.
I love this quote because it just cuts right to the chase. Price can be incredibly misleading, right? It can paint a picture of massive strength when there's nothing there, or a weakness when a move is just getting started. But volume shows you the raw truth. It shows you who's actually participating. And it's the key to shifting your entire perspective from just guessing to actually understanding.
So let's really dig into this idea of the price lie. I want you to think of price action, all by itself, as a bit of a magician. It's great at misdirection. It can put on this incredible show, making a move look so powerful and convincing when, in reality, it's totally hollow. It's an illusion.
Come on, tell me this doesn't look familiar. You see a stock just starting to break out. That big green candle, it looks absolutely perfect. So you jump in, right? And what happens? Bam! It immediately turns around and stops you out. That right there, that fake out, is the exact trap we're talking about. And it's not just frustrating, it's a surefire way to drain your account.
Okay, so how do we avoid that trap? How do we stop falling for the magician's tricks? Well, we look at the fuel. You can think of volume as the market's truth serum. It cuts through all the noise and reveals the real conviction, the actual horsepower that's driving a price move.
So let's get on the same page. Technically, sure, volume is just the total number of shares traded. But I want you to think of it as so much more than that. It's not just a number, it's a measure of energy. Every single trade is like a vote being cast for a certain price, and the total volume tells you just how much energy, how much belief is powering that move.
So when you see that volume bar on your chart, this is what you're really seeing. It's the market's collective voice. A huge volume spike means tons of people are getting involved, that they have real conviction in this price. And you know what's really crucial? It often signals that the big institutions, the so-called smart money, are making their move.
And this is my absolute favorite way to think about it. It just makes perfect sense. A car might look incredibly fast and powerful, but if its fuel tank is empty, it's not going anywhere, is it? Well, price is the car and volume is the fuel. A price move that happens on low volume is just running on fumes. You can bet it's not going to last very long.
All right, so theory is great, but how do we actually put this in practice? Let's connect the dots between what the price is doing and what the volume is doing so you can learn to spot a trend that actually has legs versus one that's about to fall flat on its face.
This right here, this simple comparison is pretty much the entire playbook. On one side, you've got a rising price with rising volume. That's a beautiful story of strength and agreement. It's a healthy trend. But on the other side, you've got a rising price with falling volume. And that tells a very different story, one of dying interest. It's a huge warning sign.
Now, let's focus on the good stuff. When you see the price climbing and you look down and see that the volume bars are getting taller too, that, my friends, is confirmation. That is the market screaming that more and more people agree with this higher price. They are jumping on board with enthusiasm. This is the kind of move you can actually trust.
Okay, now for the other side of the coin, which honestly might be even more important for protecting your hard-earned money. How do we use volume to spot those sneaky, deceptive moves that are basically designed to trap traders like us?
This is the scenario that you have to burn into your brain. The price is kind of drifting higher, maybe even looks like a breakout. But look at the volume. It's drying up. It's fading away. That quietness is a massive red flag. It means there's no real interest, no conviction. The move is totally exhausted, and it is very, very likely to fail. It's one of the clearest warnings the market will ever give you.
You know, when you really start to internalize this relationship between price and volume, it's going to fundamentally change how you trade, I promise. You'll go from nervously reacting to every little price flicker to making confident decisions like a professional because you're using real evidence.
So let's be real for a second. Ask yourself this and be honest. Have you been guilty of this? Have you seen a big, beautiful green candle and just jumped in on emotion without ever even glancing down to check if there was any fuel in the tank to keep it going? We've all done it. And that's the night and day difference, right? The average retail trader gets hypnotized by price. They just chase it. But the professional waits. They sit on their hands and wait for volume to come in and confirm that the move is the real deal before they even think about putting their capital at risk. That discipline, that's their edge. And here's why that edge is so incredibly powerful. Think about it. Massive institutions, the smart money, they can't hide what they're doing. When they need to buy or sell millions upon millions of shares, it creates these huge, undeniable spikes in volume. Those are their footprints in the market. And if you learn how to read volume, you can learn how to follow those footprints.
So let's boil this entire thing down to its absolute essence. It's really simple. Price is just the headline. It tells you what is happening. The stock is going up or the stock is going down. It's the simple, surface-level story.
But volume. Volume gives you the context. It's the story behind the headline. It tells you who is making it happen. Is it just a few small traders pushing it around? Or is it the undeniable force of major institutions? And knowing that, well, that changes everything.
So from this day forward, this needs to become your new mantra. Before you even think about entering a trade, you need to demand confirmation from volume. You have to learn to respect what it's telling you, especially when it seems to contradict what the price is doing. That simple discipline, that's your new edge.
And that really is the power of this whole approach. You now have a tool to look right through the surface-level noise and actually gauge the true conviction behind any move. So the question you're going to ask yourself from now on isn't just, what's the price doing? It's, is this move even worthy of my trust?